Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 21 of How to Become a Sales Warrior. I am Eddie Podge, your host. My co-host is Ty White.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be back, man. We've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Yes, we have. But for good reason. Business dictates when we can get into the studio, and when we're busy, we're busy. And sometimes you just can't take things away from the business itself. And that's something that I focus on when people want me to do events and come here and come there, and it's like, if I can, I can. If I can't, I won't. And
it's a good thing we planned for it. We sat a couple of weeks ahead of time and said, hey, let's put all the focus on these events. And we had a great trade show. It was awesome. I had so much fun.
I just wish I would have told Erica about it. Which is fine. So you'll never believe what chapter we're going to talk about today.
What's that?
You can't guess? All right. So it's chapter 11, trade shows.
Oh, of course. I thought you were bringing it
in. In the book, I write about all the things to do, to not do, and we've talked about a bunch of them here, on this show. Tell me your thoughts after doing the Melville Business Expo, from what you learned in the book to what we actually did.
Well, I can actually compare and contrast my first time and second time. Now, because first time was Magic Junk, second time was Pack Pros. But it really felt good this time knowing everyone in the room as opposed to being a stranger last time, right? So the nods of everyone that I've already worked with this past year since the last one, every time they walk past, they're walking people over to me already because they're like, oh, this is Ty. He's done this for me. He's done that for me. They're just walking people over. I didn't get a chance to spend as much time at the other booths as I did last year because it seemed like it was just a assembly line, like a conveyor belt coming to my
100%.
My table. So it was great. It just felt like we were the center of the room.
As always.
It felt like we had that corner between me and Galuzzo. We had everything locked down. And it was just great. I followed up with I have meetings already. We pretty much had that. We did Carly, but we locked that in.
We locked it in at the event. I need you. I need you now.
Went the next day, did that job for her. So it was a great event. You threw me hundreds of layups. I kept as soon as I would get away from my table, my cousin who was working the table with me would call me. He'd be like, "Hey, you got to come back." And he's sending somebody over. I'm like, "I'm talking to somebody over here." All right, I'm coming back. But it was a good tag team.
So, in one of the in the trade show chapter, I specify, location. Yeah. I chose to be on the side of the ballroom where the food was. Yeah. Because everyone who goes there wants food. Yep. They have phenomenal food.
Yep. That's where the traffic was.
That's where the traffic was. So again, being selective beforehand, finding out where the layout is, talking to Ted, saying, I want to be by the, and we had a corner, and I didn't mind. Galuzzo needed the extra room for his big sign, which was no problem. Maybe if it was someone else, it would have probably given him a hard time. Yeah. But again, we're part of a team. We want to make it happen. But for me to be here and just look over, and, hey, Ty, having you right across the way, different than last year when you were next to me. Very different.
That was very different. That was key. Was key.
It took eyes onto the other side.
Yeah.
So when you had someone on my side and you turned them that side, it's a different visual and vice versa. So
it was a nice surprise for a lot of people to.
No, you were right there.
But to need the other half of what we provide and then talk to you about that first or talk to me about it and be like, wait, turn around. Oh, that, and he'll do it for me or he'll store it for me. And like, cause there's people that I'm like, well, if we could do it with pods and cause from that day, I created like a whole new pitch. Cause I'm like, Eddie's starting to throw me layups. I got to do the pods thing. Like, hey, listen, you might not need labor, but a few people were like, but I might need storage. Oh, boom. I dropped a couple cards like on your desk, so.
The action statement that I took was follow up. So our guest here today, Lenny Marks, he was a guy I wanted to follow up with because I wanted him to be on our podcast. Lo and behold, he's here. It's not even a week.
And I'm glad how we met because I met him at the event that you couldn't make it to that night with I was actually met with Beauchamp. He took that first picture of us, and I told you as soon as I left, I was like, this guy's got this really cool thing with the and then it was great how he just came waltzing around the corner. I'm like, oh, there he is.
There he is, and we'll talk more about that. But that follow up is real important. I followed up with the Tree Lights guy, so he wanted to be a guest.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really focusing just on pods. I was focusing on pods, the podcast, different things. But having that stack of cards on my desk, making sure I sent out a reply. Some people jumped at me right away with beautiful, hey, it was a pleasure to meet you, pleasure to see you again, that kind of stuff. So, overall, good stuff at the trade show. We'll get back to it in a few minutes.
You know what I did towards the end of the show, which I wish I would have done since the beginning, was I took my iPad, flipped it, and I put a podcast on and just let it play.
I saw that.
You should do that next time. Bring your iPad. You have one. Bring your iPad with you. Fold it up. Put it there and just throw an episode on, and it's just because it's just another thing for them to be like, oh, what's that?
What's that? Yeah,
oh, that's cool. Oh, really? That's cool. So I did that towards the end, and I'd seen a few people come on like, oh, and then next thing you know, the podcast was a topic of conversation. So,
all right, best sports moment of the weekend. What do you got?
I've been watching a lot of basketball. Season just started.
So I saw the Knick game.
Yeah. Well.
The second game.
All right. You're talking about
forget the first game. That wasn't a game. That was a playground ass kicking.
Yeah, and then Indy. They smoked Indiana.
Yeah, like 32 points.
I really liked LeBron's fourth quarter comeback against the Kings the other night. I was like, wow. Him and Anthony Davis scored. I think 30 points apiece. Nice. I mean, how often are we going to see that?
Did Bronny get in?
No, he's going off to the G League.
He is going off to the G League.
Yeah, they're putting him on the G League shuttle. I
heard that.
That was a whole
PR.
Make history, PR.
Yeah,
he's playing with his son, but
because God forbid LeBron got hurt and didn't play this year.
Anything.
Yeah.
So good.
Steph Curry twisted his ankle twice last night. Hobbled out. At the second time, he went straight to the tunnel. So I haven't heard any update on.
I don't have high expectations for them this year. Clay's playing really good over in Dallas.
I don't want to hear about Clay. Fuck Clay.
You mad that he left?
He's a traitor. Fuck him.
He was over there for 15 years.
Fuck you, Clay Thomas. My big wins in the football scene, because I'm so loaded down. My Giants didn't play, so I got to watch the Jets lose another one, which was funny. Feel bad for my Jet fan family and friends, but funny. Watching KC just win again, man. Just win again. And then watching San Fran whip up on Dallas. We love you, Dallas. Keep losing.
Did you see that Washington play? The end of the game?
Oh, my God.
I've been working the last couple Sundays.
He's good. They love him. He's getting props all around. And that was with a rib injury, and he launched it 58 yards.
Wow.
Chicago blew that game.
Did you see the one guy who thought the game was over?
Oh,
was dancing down the sideline.
Hey! They snapped the ball. He's the guy.
He's going to get...
No. He's the one who tipped it backwards to the receiver. Same guy. Wow. They were tearing him apart on ESPN today. Wow. Tearing him apart. All right, man. We're going to jump into networking. We always give a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, just have something to offer someone.
Yeah.
And not just your business card.
Yeah.
Your business, whether it be something from the daily newspaper, something from the sports scene, or just someone that you may be able to connect him to.
Yeah.
So that's my networking tip. If you're going to go to an event, have something to offer.
Yeah. Well, I got that from you a long time ago. And the time that it really stuck out to me was, I think we were walking the Libby show, one of the first big ones that you brought me to. And then you ran into the Egress guys.
Yeah. Randy was there.
And you did a certain pitch through, everybody. But when you got to him, it was like, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And then Randy. He comes and sees you again at this trade show, and absolutely. It was just from that day and that interaction, I was like, all right, stop throwing your stuff out all the time and see how you can help this person and see how you can make a connection for them, and then they'll be more apt to give you something. The biggest
thing, and again, people bullshit at the shows. Yeah, I'll call you. Yeah, we'll get together. And half of them aren't serious, but when you make that next follow-up call, do they respond, or is it silence? It was a great show, leave me the fuck alone. And guys like Randy, he invited me on his podcast, so we exchanged podcast digits. So good piece of information.
Trade show tip.
You go first.
Follow up.
And
goes with everything.
Yeah. So mine, I'm going to let you read it because, you weren't able to do it as much.
Yeah, spending time with other booths, which is I did that a lot more the first time, getting to know people. But
I'll give you the tip on how to avoid a show like we just had. It was a great show. Traffic was phenomenal. Blah blah blah. 8 out of 10 though. Why? Because I didn't get to see all the other booths. Eddie did. Eddie was by himself. Eddie was there also at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
You saw where I parked.
Yeah.
I was a third spot to the door. Why was I there that early? To do that, in case it was a really good show, and I wouldn't be able to go play connect the dots with everybody who's there. And that's part of the strategy. Why am I always early? It is who I am, but there's a strategy behind it. You don't want to miss someone.
Yeah.
And, I told you this. I was setting up my booth, and a man walked up to me who was working for the chamber and said, Eddie, do you move to Connecticut? That engaged him the entire day.
Yeah.
Came over to talk to you about loading.
Yeah. Wouldn't stop talking.
Came to me, wouldn't stop talking. But if I'm not there at 7:30, I don't even get that time because he's got the show, he's got 100 booths to worry about. That's the direct correlation to being prepared, being early, being ready to go. So those are my tips. We're going to head out to Old Fashioned time. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Peace out.
Peace out. There we go. We're back. Episode number 21. I love looking back there and seeing it. How to Become a Sales Warrior. I'm very proud of that sign. I really am. I surprised a lot of people when they came to the studio and they were like, wow, you're for real.
Yeah.
So our guest is here, Lenny Marks. Welcome, Lenny.
Thank you for having me.
He's a professional photographer.
Fabulous.
We do a little toast. Welcome
toast.
aboard. We're going to tell you about what Old Fashioned time is. Go ahead, Ty.
So Old Fashioned is funny because this pen right here from All-in-One Marketing is where we met at a marketing event, not a trade show, but a marketing event. And it was a lot of bullshit. And, at the end, we kind of cut out a little early, went downstairs, got an Old Fashioned. And that's where the whole birth of how we could help each other and what we both do and how that goes in with each other all came over that first Old Fashioned. And this tequila guy decided he was going to come over to bourbon.
To do bourbon.
So, and then we came up with this segment based on our relationship of always having a new way and an old-fashioned way to do business, both that still work. And
that's where he comes in today.
Yeah, for real.
So I'll lay the groundwork and you'll finish it. So, when you're at a trade show, there's always someone going around for the chamber taking pictures. Every show. So it's the guy who kissed ass the most and he gets the job. You rarely see those pictures. Once in a blue moon, they'll appear in an ad or something, but it's not like they send them to you. So it's kind of like after the trade show, you already forgot about the picture and you'll probably never see it again, use it again for marketing material. What's the new way of doing it?
Well, the Melville Chamber guy who does the photos, I've taken many pictures with him at events, at last year's trade show, different cocktail hours. I've never seen a single one of those photos.
I believe you.
The second I met you, you had a link to it. It's in my phone. I can't even escape it. It's like I see it. I see it on people's Facebooks and stuff. So that's what was really interesting to me because you have now just made it so easy to just you take a picture with someone and it's so easy to just send it out, share it out, connect everybody.
But you're missing the one key thing that makes it amazing. It reads your face, facial identification,
facial recognition,
facial recognition to your phone number in his contact list.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to look you up. He doesn't have to get your name and number.
It recognizes your face.
I had that picture within 7 seconds. Cheers to you, bro.
I couldn't wait for him to meet.
I know you didn't invent it, but man, that was freaking awesome.
No,
really
but he's the first person I've seen creatively use this in a way that's like, whoa. You know, I've not, we're around all these different events. There's plenty of photographers. It's the first time that, it's like interesting like that to the point where you want to make, introduce.
So that's how when we started talking and my mind right away went to the podcast we're always looking to bring something new, interesting, different.
Yeah.
Our tips are just meant to help new generation. Because I didn't even say that. I didn't even do the why we're here. Didn't even do that.
Yeah.
But the reason we are here is to help a younger generation to get to the top of that sales ladder quicker. This book, this podcast could shave off 3 to 5 years off that struggle that took me 20 years to climb. And again, it was only out of inexperience that it took me so long to climb. I was always successful, but I wasn't successful enough. So, just wanted you to know that. All right, best new connection of the week. Who's yours?
Oh man, I have a lot.
There you go.
I got so many.
Who's your best new?
I would say this woman who's continuously followed me from the start of Magic into Pac Pros, and every time she sees me, she's just like, you've been bootstrapping this thing since the beginning, and we want to let you know that there's all of this money available to Black-owned businesses that you're not taking advantage of. And I'm like, okay, I don't really think, because I've never looked into getting loans.
Because you don't want to hand out.
I don't want to hand, not even that. I don't want to owe anybody anything.
Right.
And I don't,
And when someone says it's free money, is it free?
I'm like, listen, I used to do cash advances and loans and all kinds of stuff, before I got into this. So I stay away from all that stuff. But, I guess times have changed, and there's all of these things now that they're
Black
helping
business owners,
and they're helping small
women,
businesses,
Black business owners, minorities.
So I have a meeting with her on Wednesday, and she's like, "We're going to get you registered and show you what's available to you." So,
that's awesome.
Make things a little easier, right? Yeah. So it's always good to, listen. If I qualify for it, and they're telling me, you're in your first year of your business. This is, I've had my other company,
but this one
is the first, not even a full year yet. So I'm gonna take full advantage of it, and she's very adamant about it. She calls me every day, just to how are things going. Well, what do you need? And she's connected me with a few other people already she just keeps reaching out. So she's my best new connection.
I'm going with Ambassador Construction. So I met them. They were working on my neighbor's house, and they put up the giant sign, the construction company, pamphlet in front, take one of these. And I called the owner and I said, hey, you're doing my neighbor's house. It looks awesome. I see you got a pod on the driveway. Do you have a pod guy? I know the answer because I'm him and he's not mine. So he's like, no. I said, let me come to your office and let's just meet each other and see if we jive together and see if we can do some business together. That was in February. I just booked my 8th job with him last week. So I wanted to give Gary from Ambassador Construction a shout out for always giving my number to all of his clients. And, I say this to Ty all the time. Referrals for me are gold. You don't have to do much other than be a really good guy, really nice, and smile when you close on the deal. That's all you have to do because the deal is already closed because it's a referral. So
I have a really cool opportunity that we had on the table. They're like a huge music label platform thing, and they were looking to get all of their band equipment transported and stored. And I brought you over for a second to speak with them, but they also have things that are outside of the country that he was looking to. He wants me to. You remember? I can do the stuff here.
I do London and I do Sydney, Australia.
That's the only places out of the country.
But we don't go to them. They're on their own. We don't ship out.
Yeah. But they still got locations around the country too.
What about you? Best new connection of the week?
You guys.
Oh, there you go. The right answer. We'll toast to that.
Toast to that.
This has been great. I've learned a lot just sitting right here, right now. And then the trade show follow-ups, that's gold.
It is gold.
Right there. I had a great connection with one of the booths that was right next to me. He called me a few days ago and said, hey, are you available next week to photograph an event using this interactive software that I showed you. So hopefully that's going to work out in recurring jobs. So
excellent.
That's worth its weight in gold. That's worth the price of admission right there.
Best business decision of your week.
Business decision.
Going to the trade show.
Going to the trade show.
To the trade show.
That was that was the number one decision of the week. Other than that, it's been just work.
For me, it's something right out of my book. Tell me what this says.
10-10-10.
This is my strategy during the day when I know I'm going to be in the office for 8 to 10 hours. that I can't get sucked down rabbit holes. And I write a book
That's
on
good.
this because part of the problem with people is they get sucked into something and they stay sucked in for way longer than they should have, needed to, and they end up leaving off other people who they really needed to really connect with or do something with, whether it's create an email, a phone call, whatever it is. I was on fire last week on Friday. Literally every hour I was transforming from calls to emails to budgets to I had to take 3 videos on cybersecurity, but every hour I rotated. So I rotated 7 times during my 10-hour day. And the rotation just cleaned up everything on my table. And I walked into the weekend and I said to my wife, I don't have to work this weekend. Nothing. She's like, wow, cheers to that.
What do you mean rotate?
Plan to work from 8 to 9:30 just on follow-up emails. New customers that reached out to pods, I want to reach out to them via email. If there's a phone number available, in the next hour, I'll come back and make a phone call to them. Hour and a half goes by, I stopped doing that, and I went in to take my cybersecurity class, which was 3 different videos that lasted an hour with a test that I passed. Once that was done, it was off to following up for last week's leads, doing a second follow-up email. Hey, anywhere on the pod, every hour and a half changing what I'm doing, specifically making sure that I'm changing every hour and a half. What about you, bro? What are you already best decision was going? What was your best business decision of the week?
Oh, you really put me on the spot.
Yeah.
To focus on finding the paths I need to take to find new business next year, because the business is changing. So I need to pivot. I need to concentrate on that. So that's, focus is hard for me to come by, and that's awesome. Again, worth the price of admission, because I do get sucked down rabbit holes, and without the discipline, I could stay there all day. And creatives tend to be very ADD.
Yeah.
So when we do get distracted, it's very hard to get back on the rails. So again, I'm glad I'm sitting here, because that is good. That is
it's funny that you say that, because I was a Ritalin kid, so I took Ritalin. I was hyperactive. One of my kids had it, and then one kid had ADD to the fullest extent. So it's really something I'm aware of behavior-wise that I've learned from going to psychologist with my kids and therapy with my kids, and learning to not fall prey to their weaknesses and make them my strengths. Right. And I really have done that, and I wouldn't be as successful without it, because it really lets me focus on this. Now we're going to focus on this, and now we're going to focus on this, and it allows me every day to be that way. But I wanted to highlight it because when I came out of work Friday, and I always have good days, but this was especially good because my desk was clear. I was ahead of things, and I was very proud of myself. I mean, I'll take my own bow. And when I said to my wife, I have no work this week, she knows what that means. I normally go in every Saturday for 2-3 hours. I always call him. Or if I don't do Saturday, I do Sunday. I didn't have to go in. It was such a relief. And that was all because of 10-10-10. Mm-hmm. All right, big win. Closed deal.
Matt Grasso.
Matt Grasso
was a good one. Turned into 2 days.
2 days. He got 2 containers. So we 1-2 punched this guy. This referral came from our very first guest, Chris Galuzzo.
The third leg of the table, the corner.
Of the corner at the trade show. He was right next to us. He sent the lead to me. Matt needed containers, needed storage options in my warehouse. Talked it all through. End of the conversation. Do you know a pack and load team? Tee it up for Ty. Ty gets the second phone call. We're all booked up for this round robin. The only problem is when Ty goes for his walkthrough. When did you go? Yesterday?
No, Saturday. I did the job yesterday.
Yeah, he went there yesterday, and he had way more shit than he said he did. He filled up a container and was going to need a second container. And they're texting me and emailing me on a Sunday when my office is closed saying, can we do this tomorrow? And,
You know who sent you that email from his phone?
Yep.
That was me. He's like, I don't know what to say. I know he's not working out. I was like, I literally talked to text and emailed you from his phone. I was like, all right, can we get a pod tomorrow?
So we couldn't because we had to pick up the first pod. So it was easier for me to go to my team and say, hey guys, I need a favor. I need you to jet out to Comac, approve it, to pick up a full container and allow me to get a second one there on Tuesday. Anything for you, Eddie? That was at 7:15 this morning. I'm like, fucking A, yeah. The team, having a team behind you to be able to do that. And by 8 o'clock, Matt was comfortable knowing container being picked up today, new one coming tomorrow, Ty's coming tomorrow. Everything's working out like they planned.
Yeah, he's super happy. He was super happy. I'm actually get a video with him at the end of the job.
Cool.
We banged it. We did a great job over there.
Your big win?
Big win. Let's see. Getting. I have a big event coming up. Getting all the technical aspects of that event put together. That was a huge win for me.
What kind of event is it?
It's a charity event. We do a charity event with dogs. We're benefiting Paws of War. We're also benefiting General Needs. So both of those events have Santa, and
General Needs. That's Lee.
It's
Who's the guy you're working with?
Is
his name Lee?
It's not Lee.
Yeah.
We'll move past it because you're taxing my memory immediately. But both of those two charities are veterans charities. One of them helps homeless vets and suicide prevention. The other one helps service dogs and the service members that come from overseas. So we do a charity event. It's a $30 donation. Santa comes and people come in with their dogs.
Where are you doing it?
We're at the 16th. We're at my studio in Huntington.
Okay. The one on Are you on Main Street?
I'm on right next to the Paramount on New York Avenue.
So you're not doing it in the dog store down there, are you? The pet store?
No.
Because we go there every year to do the dog.
Right. We're doing at my studio on the 16th.
You gotta send me an invite.
I will send you an invite, absolutely. And then the 23rd and the 24th of November and following week at the Conklin Barn.
Wow, that's awesome.
So bring your dogs, bring your kids.
I got 2 dogs.
Santa, I heard Santa already.
Santa's going to be there. And you donate $30, you get a free 4x6 photo.
Excellent.
And that $30 goes directly to the charity. So that's my win for the week because the electronics in that for that event is taxing my ADD. There's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
And it's always something that we need to make work early, just to get out the bugs.
So I didn't have a big win of the week. I had 35 little ones. 35 little wins. My phone was ringing off the frickin' hook like nobody's business. You don't know this, but they let go 3/4 of my team. I'm covering from Maine to South Carolina and all the way across to Minnesota. Getting my voice out there, getting my emails out there, getting my phone calls out there regularly, consistently, and my phone literally is just blowing up. I am at 290 containers for this month. I still have 4 days and 2 delivery days to hit the goal of 300. So
you'll hit it. So
all right,
let's
here
get
comes the Q&A.
Let's get into
Ready?
Lenny Marks, man.
Let's get him jump like a chicken. Okay.
So, first question is: do you remember your first photography job?
My first job. My first job as a bona fide professional was a wedding. I was. It was a long time ago. It was probably 34 years ago. And I was working. Yeah, I was working for, longer than you've been alive.
That's how old I am.
Gray hair didn't come from nothing. No, I was working as an assistant for a studio, and he said, I have a little job for you. Go do it. It's a little wedding. So I was literally in my car reading a How to Shoot Weddings book. And then going in.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I did too bad. I was really, really scared. That was an
Were they
interesting.
happy with the what he provided?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
No one came
I hope
after him.
so.
Yeah.
No one came after him.
I hope so. But that was yeah. So
1990.
Yeah. So 32 years I've been doing this officially, and before that it was always a hobby. I always loved it since I was a little kid.
When did you know it was going to be your career?
Right in that 92 area.
Yeah.
I had a passion for photography. I was doing lighting and sound systems at the time, so I was sort of in the entertainment kind of business. I literally said, this is it. I quit my job. Cold turkey, and I said, now I'm a photographer. So that was really scary.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just to do
now
that.
You're relying on yourself.
And now, 32 years later, it's been an interesting career. I went into weddings and portraits and bar and bat mitzvahs and stayed there for 20.
Don't give us all the info
years.
now. Don't give us all the info now.
Well, that's what we were going into next. Was what were you doing? What did you pivot from? What were you doing that before the photography?
Yeah, I was doing lighting and sound. I was doing commercial sound,
makes sense.
commercial lighting systems like nightclub lighting systems, stage lighting systems, and audio.
That's why when you came in here, you were like, "This is
Geek
right
City.
up your alley."
I was geeking out. On this is
So tell me 5 of the most meaningful technological progressions since 1992 that you've experienced. A couple of them that really stand out in your business.
In chronological order, well, I guess I could do that. It started with amazing film technology. I mean, it was all film. Yeah, Fuji actually came in and dominated the industry.
Yeah, they did, because I was in the printing industry, and they were late to it. Kodak was in, AIG, there were all these other, and Fuji came in and made a massive push and really, really kicked ass.
They used to come to our professional meetings, and they used to deliver. This is a lesson in marketing, how to get market share. They used to come in with fanny packs that you would wear, like equipment bags that you would wear around your waist. Good high quality fanny packs that you're gonna wear again, stuffed with enough film to shoot a whole wedding.
Wow.
So that was hundreds of dollars worth of film. And so you get to do a whole job with their film, and it was really good film.
Yeah.
And that is how they relentlessly actually beat back Kodak, which was something that was
never thought it could
would
happen.
You think that Kodak
owned the market share for the first 50 years.
So Fuji did it right.
What else?
And then digital started. So Canon.
They were first.
Canon had an iteration of camera. It was actually Kodak. Kodak had a digital back that first went on a Nikon camera, then went on a Canon camera, and they had the patent. You couldn't make a digital camera. It was this big $30,000 camera back extension that went on the camera. And as soon as the patent expired, Canon was the first one to jump on it, and they made a camera that instead of being $30,000 was $3,000.
Smart.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the market right there, and I jumped on that because I was of the generation. We were the generation that spanned digital to film.
Right.
So I was all over that. I was like, all right, go. And so I got my first digital camera, and I left film behind very quickly, faster than I should have.
What did Fuji do when the digital phase came? What did they go to? I didn't follow it.
They make cameras. They make some, even to this day, they
That's
make
what they're
some
doing.
really amazing cameras. But they made cameras with Nikon lens mounts, and so they had the best of both worlds: Nikon glass and Fuji.
Doesn't it blow your mind though? Because like I said, it was in the printing industry in the early '80s until the early '90s, and all of a sudden there's no more film.
Yeah.
There's no more plate burning machines because you put the plates now in this bed where the camera is, and it went right from artwork to burning the impression on the plate into the developer. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
The amount of change and the speed of change, not just in my industry, across the board. I mean, even I look around this studio and the technology that's here, and the technology that'll be here 2 years from now will be different than what we're seeing today. So the gentleman who brought me into, I started in the wedding industry, so the person who brought me into that industry to show me what things were like, he spent almost 50 years in the wedding industry, and he didn't have to deal with change. Very, very little. Cameras got a little bit better, lenses got a little bit better, film technology got better, but he basically started his career. He was old enough that he was dealing with the old the old Kodak press cameras with the flash bulb up on the top. Right, that's where he started. So his revolution
His lineage.
was roll film, where you can now do 30 exposures instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was digital, but the speed of change from what he did to what we need to deal with now, and I'm still reinventing.
So, what's the next big thing in photography? What do you think will be what do you anticipate? I know it's got to have something to do with AI.
Yeah, AI is a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's something that if we don't embrace to some degree, we're going to get left behind. I mean, if you are a photographer or any creative that says AI has no place in my world, then that world will pass you by.
But is that the next technological thing in photography?
I think so.
Yeah, man. I'm an audio engineer. I used to produce, and I'm a musician and stuff. And before I got into this, I worked in a lot of studios. So a lot of my guys are video guys. They do music videos and commercials and things like that. A lot of them use Sony's now, like the A7S and those kind of for the video stuff. The software and the stuff that they're using now, I feel like you don't even have to be that great of a photographer anymore, because the software does so much for you. And one of my buddies just shot a video. He's making the guy singing disappear and show up over here, all with AI. It's like, it looks like CGI almost, like from like motion pictures, like a movie, but it's like in the hands of everyday people, and like they're just manipulating it in ways that it's crazy to me. I'm like, wow, like there's no way he edited that and did that. Like the AI, he probably told the AI what he wanted, and then it gave him that.
Right.
Like, it's so weird.
Yeah. So my feeling, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
I do use AI in my workflow to make retouching fast and efficient. So if I photograph 100 headshots, I could literally retouch 100 headshots in 5 minutes. And that's AI.
Yep.
But it is not creating an image for me.
Mm-hmm.
So. I think what AI is doing, and I may sound a little dated, but it is definitely dumbing us down to a degree.
Oh, yeah.
When I came from film, I mean, film photographers needed to be professionals. They needed to know how to do it, right? And then digital leveled the playing field. Now you need to barely know how to do anything. You just type it in the computer, right?
Yep.
So I don't want to sound old-fashioned, but there is definitely a old-fashioned, right?
There you go.
There's definitely a difference in people's professionalism, and you have to be more of a computer tech than you do a photographer these days.
Well, that's even with music producing. You have to be more of a computer tech than an actual musician, because people used to pay me to come up with 8-bar piano chords and riffs. Now you can tell AI, give me 8 chords in the key of G, and it gives you something creative.
And it sounds pretty good. Right?
Is there a photographer that inspires you? Being that you've been in the field this long, is there somebody out there, a name?
I don't have one.
Okay.
No, I don't have one that I aspire to.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Not everyone does.
I know you spoke about the charity event that's coming up. Do you have anything else big coming up besides the charity event, or any even if it's not big, just what's your next job?
I'm doing a lot of my focus has been switching in business. My focus up until now has been individual headshots in my office. So you need a headshot, you call me up, you come into my office, we do a headshot. My focus is now switching to a little more service oriented, where I'm doing team headshots, where instead of doing one in my office, I'm doing 50, 60, 100 in a company.
Yep.
That is where my business is moving to, and also the interactive event photography, which you saw in action at the trade show, where we now can produce an image, and I have a great story to tell about it, but we can produce an image and deliver it to you immediately. my great story about in the trade show, a photographer was there who you mentioned before, and he photographed the person, gave him a business card, and walked away. Right? He photographed somebody
I
in
know
his
what you
booth.
did. He walked up, took a picture, and gave him the
Gave him
picture
this
right
visit-
away. And he
gave him
tore
the-
that card up.
So I went up to the gentleman. I said, "I'm going to blow your mind." I said, "Can I
Nice.
take your picture?" He goes, "Yeah." So I take his picture, and I said, "Count to 10." And in 4 seconds, his phone rings, and there's the picture right there.
That's why you're here
And,
today,
and the
brother.
guy said, I didn't cue him. He goes, "I'm using you."
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. There you go.
So the importance of that software in that event situation is and the things attached to that software. There's hot links. There's
Charities,
a charity event,
donations.
there's a link for that.
I like that.
So it is a really dynamic piece of software that is,
It made me remember you, man.
yeah,
Like
see?
it really made you stand
Dude,
out.
I ran
and
over
then-
him. Like, we got to get this guy on our show.
Yeah.
This is old and new right there,
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
fashioned.
Yeah.
What was, over the past 32 years, your favorite shoot that you ever did? 32 years, the best one.
Wow, I got to do this auto.
Don't think,
refill.
don't take, it shouldn't take that
and not
long.
The, and not the one you made the most money of. The one
Yeah,
you had
no,
the
no.
most fun.
I got one. Here we go. It was my third to last wedding, so not too long ago, maybe 4 years ago, and it was I kind of knew I was just about done with the wedding business, and I finished that job. A couple of weeks went by, and I had already decided at that point that I was done. I was done with weddings. I just didn't want to do them anymore. The bride called me and she said, "Len, we just want to let you know that you hit the ball out of the park." And it was a kind of wedding I didn't want to leave. I was dancing with my assistant, and after 25 years of weddings, those are few and far between. You just want to do your job and go home, right? But I didn't want to leave. I had a drink, and I was dancing with them on the dance floor. It was just they were dancers, they were artists, and me being of the art world, it was awesome, and so it was a week after I said I'm done, and she called me and said, "You were amazing," and I was like, ding. I'm like,
Nice.
That was the exclamation point
Nice.
to my entire wedding career.
All right, we got 2 more questions. Got to
Go for
answer
it.
quickly so we stay on time, please. Go.
Where are you in 5 years, Len Marks? Where is Len Marks
Ooh,
Photography?
In 5 years, I am. That's an interesting question. I am doing only team headshots. I'm working for big companies and photographing hundreds of headshots at a time. And that's where I am. And doing product. I'm doing a little product work now, and that will also be
All right, here's the big last question. This one stumps everybody.
okay.
You can have dinner with anyone in the history of the world. Who would you want to have dinner with?
Jeez. I like Spielberg.
There
I
you go.
love his
There's the artistic
creativity. Yeah, I
side.
love his
There's your artistic-
creativity. I love the way he approaches his work.
He'd probably blow your mind.
He probably would.
He'd say like 3 things that would just.
Yeah, just composition and
Yeah.
lighting and form and I'm big in even in my still work. I'm very very big into lighting like movies.
Is he like the Michael Jordan?
Yes.
Of
All right, tell the audience, look at the camera, tell the audience how they can reach Len Marks Photography.
You can reach me at lenmarksphoto.com. My address, you want my
Email,
address?
phone number.
Email is Lenny, M, so Lenny, the letter M, at lenmarksphoto.com. And phone number, 631-367-1219.
And you, Ty?
guys can reach me at thepackpros.com, 631-626-6290, or Ty, Tye, at
I thought he was
thepackpros.com.
going to read the phone number.
Oh, you want to read my phone number? Let's
Come
go,
here,
buddy.
come here, get up
Let's
here.
go, buddy. Get up here.
Come on, we got a minute and a half.
We got a special guest in
We
the.
have a special
Let's
guest
go,
in the
sit down.
house tonight. This
Ty
is
Jr.?
Ty A. This is the little man. He's going to read the phone number. If you need packing, loading, any kind of stuff like that,
This is
you're
the
going to
number.
call.
Read the number. Go ahead.
600
631.
631
Uh-huh. 6
626
6. Uh-huh.
629. 890.
And who can we get at that phone number? Who's going to answer?
Who's gonna answer the phone?
Daddy.
There you go. Daddy's going to answer.
As long as
There you
Daddy's
go.
answering the phone, we're good.
I am Eddie Podge, your host. You can find my book on Amazon. It's called How to Become a Sales Warrior. If you have any needs for me to come in and talk to your sales team and trying to motivate them to hit their goals and take a few years off the learning curve, I'd be happy to. You can reach me at eddie@becomeasaleswarrior.com. If you need a pod, you call me at eadelman@pods.com or 631-334-8587. Lenny, it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you for being
having me,
here.
Ty.
Len.
We are out with 13 seconds to spare.
Wow.
Got to do a picture in
Fabulous.
front of the screen with you.
Say bye, buddy. Wave.
Wave goodbye, Ty.